Hi, my name is Derek Turner, and I'm a board game enthusiast and designer, as well as a history and English teacher from Regina, Saskatchewan. The game I'm submitting for this year's Canadian Game Design Awards is Pot of Gold, which is a fast-paced, fun family card game for 2 to 6 players from ages 8 and up. The goal of Pot of Gold is to play the Pot of Gold at the end of your rainbow. Players will take turns, and in every turn they have several actions, and at the end of the game the goal is to be the first to play the pot of gold, and the first to play the pot of gold wins. There are a couple of different mechanics that are being used in the game, including tableau building. There's a take that element with the leprechauns, and as well there is a hand management aspect. So like in some other games, hand order is important. And so players have to keep track of the cards in their hand. You choose which side is the front and which side is the back of the hand. In my case, I play from the right, so the right is the front of my hand. And those are the cards that you're going to play on your turn. So on a player's turn, they have several options. One option is that they can play a card to their rainbow. In playing a card to their rainbow, what players get to do is they get to either add to their rainbow the next color, so it goes in order, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, just like the rainbow. So in this case, I have an orange card first in my hand. I already have a red card in my rainbow, so I could play an orange card in my rainbow. Now I have 2 of the 7 cards in the rainbow, and I can keep on building it from there. The other action that you can take is that you can, with your rainbow, is that you can do what's called solidifying your rainbow. And that's because there are some cards that would allow other players to attack your rainbow or to cause it to fade. So you can solidify by playing a card of the color of the earliest non-solidified color. In this case, red is not solidified yet, so I can place a red card to the middle, and then I will use the player aid, and that allows me to solidify my red. Now nobody can attack red. I'm going to keep on adding to my rainbow as the game goes on, and with the goal of getting to the pot of gold first. The other thing that you can do on your turn is that you can play a card for the special ability in the middle. So each card has a different ability. And they are somewhat thematically designed so that each card is kind of easy to remember, especially for younger players. So on red, you remove a card from your hand. Orange, you get to rearrange a card within your hand, which is important because turn order, or because hand order is important in the game. The next one is yellow, and you get to yell out a card to receive, so you get to take a card from another player. Green cards, recycle the cards, they let you pull one from the discard pile. Blue, you get to blow by another player, which means you get to skip their turn, the next player. Indigo, you go through the deck, so you state a color card that you want and go through the deck until you find it, add it to the back of your hand. And then there comes violet. Violet is take a violent action, which can either look like removing the most recently played non-solidified card from a rainbow, or removing a card randomly from somebody's hand. So you can really mess with their plans that way. At the end, you have the pot of gold, and a pot of gold is useful because it can win the game if it's played at the end of the rainbow. It also acts as a wild in case in any other action. So any color action can be replaced by a pot of gold when played to the middle. There also are these leprechauns. Leprechauns are part of the take that element as they negate the last action played. So when you play a leprechaun, or when somebody chooses to play a leprechaun, that's because they don't want that action to be played. So any solidify action or special action can be undone, negated by a leprechaun. At the end of your turn, you draw so that you have 5 cards back in your hand, and you can draw either the top from the deck, or you can draw from the deck, or you can draw the top from the discard, as long as it's not a leprechaun, because they're tricky to catch. And the first player to get the pot of gold played at the end of their rainbow will win the game, and then they can dance a celebratory jig. I think the game should be considered for the Canadian Game Design Award for several reasons. One is that it's very good for kids, especially for learning about the rainbow. So I've tested it with several kids of different ages, and it plays really well. I have included several variants with the game beyond the basic gameplay, so there's a lot of opportunities for players to either make it a little easier for younger players or to make it more strategic. There's a color theory variant that involves combining colors to take a certain action. So there's lots of different ways to play Pot of Gold. And it really is just, it's a fun game, it's a fun, colorful theme, and I think it works really well. Thank you for considering Pot of Gold for the Canadian Game Design Award.